Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Simmi here, and today we'll be experimenting with a different kind of art supply. And I wanted to create something very calm and happy for this project. So I was thinking of a shoreline, and since I'm a huge fan of beaches, why not? So the place is quite dirty right now. Let's clean it up. Epoxy resin is messy, so I'm going to cover the ground, and I'm using these pots from IKEA that I'll cover up and use as an elevation for my canvas so it doesn't touch the ground. And of course, it's going to get messy in here, and I don't want to ruin my clothes. So I'm going to be using the Epoxy-Resin for this video, which I'll be linking in the description below. I'm going to be using acrylic paints for the color, but ink is more preferred while working with epoxy resin. I'm going to be using some cups and some ice cream sticks to stir and mix, and some textured sand. So I'm going to start by adding my resin, and 1/3 of that will be the hardener. I'm using throwable cups for this because it's going to get really messy in the end. I'm using an ice cream stick to stir the entire mixture. It's going to look cloudy at first, but going for 3 to 4 minutes, keeping in mind that you need to scrape the sides and the bottom of your container, you're going to see that it's going to turn transparent in a while. And you can keep it aside and see the bubbles disappear in another 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add my paints. I'm going to be starting with the sand part of it, so I'm also adding my textured sand to get that texture once I pour this on the canvas board. So yeah, I'm going to thoroughly mix that. So I plan on having 3 prominent sand layers for this art. Starting with the lightest shade, I'm going to be using for the bottom of the canvas, and also using the ice cream stick to spread out on the edges of the canvas board. Here I've added the second layer, which is just adding a little bit of brown to the original shade that we made, and then blending it all really well together. And that is the third and final layer of the visible sand, which is the darkest shade. So now that we're done with the 3 layers of sand, we're going to be starting to work on the waves. But before that, I'll be adding a lighter brown shade over there so it can act as the sand under a crashing wave. You'll understand this better when we start working with the water. So that's about it for today. Let's get back at this tomorrow. So 24 hours later, here we are with a change in setup just for convenience, and we have our epoxy resin dried up. Yes, it does take it about 24 hours to 35 hours to completely dry up. This could be good for me. So we're making new colors today. Like I need a purpose. Working with shades of blue. This is going to be our darkest shade for today. Going to keep it aside to get rid of the bubbles. So we're going to be using a layering for the water part of our painting. Today will be the first day of the first layer that we'll be creating, in which the top part is going to be the darkest blue and middle with the turquoise, lining up to the end part with white.
I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how.
Don't forget to spread it across the sides as well, so that you get a finished look in the end. Since it's free-flowing water, do not worry much about rigid boundaries. It can have a free flow.
And I could walk for days, searching for your praise. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to learn your memories?
We're going to blend in both the colors really well.
Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how.
Now we're going to be using the darker blue to make horizontal stripes on the turquoise color, so that we can get the free-flowing water effect. So we'll just leave a narrow length of canvas free in between the sand and the water. Now I'm going to add white paint straight from the container and just mark an edge to the waves. So here I'm just using a straw to lightly blow onto the paint that I've put on the edges. So this causes a lacing effect, which is basically where your paint goes under the epoxy resin layer and it creates minute bubble like effects. So here it really helps us in giving the crashing wave look. Another way you could do this is if you have a heat gun, you can use that instead of a straw to get you a better result. So as I even mentioned earlier, we're going to be working in various layers. This is the first layer and I think we're done for today. Let's get back at this tomorrow. 24 hours later again, and today we're greeted by a very pretty rainbow view from the balcony. So it's day 3 of the project and today we'll be working on the second layer of the ocean. So we will be pouring a blue colored epoxy resin mixture all over the canvas until this line where we had marked with the lighter shade of the sand. I'm going to spread this mix uniformly all over the ocean. As you can notice, I'm spreading this layer of waters over and beyond the previous crashing line. This is because we're going to be creating a second wave which is closer to the sand than the previous one, and we're creating a new crashing wave. The undersurface for this is going to be the lighter and the last layer of sand that we poured on the first day. So you can see how we've used layering to create two separate layers of water, one below the other. So here is the last part that I'm going to work on, where I'm adding more details to the crashing line of the wave by adding small patches of white paint. This is to give more dynamic details to the painting. So yes, this brings us to the end of the resin art project. I hope you enjoyed the process and you like the final product too.